Momentum is the secret sauce that makes everything go. It's not talked about much, but without it, nothing changes. There's a great story that illustrates the power of momentum. Back in the early days of the railroad, they built locomotive engines and hooked it up to a bunch of cars and tried to pull them, and it couldn't pull the weight of the cars. So they built an even more powerful engine, thinking, well, more horsepower, that'll work. Couldn't budge the cars. So some genius invented the idea of the sliding coupler. The sliding coupler slides a little bit before engaging, so the engine has a little bit, just a few seconds, of movement on its own, pulling just its own weight before it engages the second car. And then it's just pulling its own weight and the weight of just one car behind it, until the coupler on that car engages with the third car, etc., etc. And guess what? That same locomotive can pull a train with hundreds of cars. This really illustrates the power of momentum. But it's easy for a railroad because it's on a track and it can only go in one direction. But our thoughts are usually jumping all over the place, creating a yo-yo effect and stopping any forward movement. This is why a consistent daily routine is so important. It needs to become a lifestyle. It may seem difficult or even a waste of your time at first, but it gets easier the more you do it. Remember, any forward movement, no matter how slight, is a positive thing. And it gets easier the more you do it. Our spiritual progress is measured by our feelings. We physical beings have no other faculty for determining our connection to Source. So when you may find something that makes you feel happy and joyful when you do it, you need to keep doing it. Do it some more. Do it as often as you can. Do it with intensity. Put the pedal to the metal and go all out without any hesitation. Do whatever it takes to intensify those good feelings. Be persistent. Don't stop or turn around when you're halfway to your destination to take measurement. You'll know when you arrive at your destination. But you must take some action, however small, to keep the momentum flowing in the right direction, or old mental habits will start to creep back in, and all of your progress that you've made will be reversed. This makes it harder to get back to where you were originally. That's forward progress, and it's empowering. But establishing forward momentum is only half of the mental work we need to do. We also need to stop doing whatever it is that slows our momentum. This is usually some interaction between our number 1 and number 2 brains. It's resistance. It feels like struggle or overwhelmment. It's whatever is making you feel bad. And knowing how each part of our brain works, it's essential to knowing how to focus on good feeling thoughts and activities and ignore those that don't make you feel so good. Our number 1 brain wants to be the only one that's in control. So you have to make it okay for number 1 to surrender to other parts of the brain. Your number 2 brain wants to stay at the vibrational level that you're already at because it's familiar and you have survived at that vibrational level. So it's a hindrance to change and growth. Make number 2 okay by being dormant and running in the background. The easier it gets, the easier it gets. Once you can reliably establish resonance with the higher vibrations of the fast energy, then universal forces will help you along your journey to joy and love. Ask yourself right now, how much of the time during the day do you let your number 1 and number 2 brains run their programming unchallenged? Don't expect any quantum leaps, for they are rarely sustainable, but rather seek to make a lifestyle change so you can generate some consistent forward movement each day, no matter how slight. Do whatever it takes to increase this. I have given up watching the TV news. It only focuses on bad feeling stuff and it blows it all out of proportion and makes it look like the end of the world is happening. No, thank you. I don't want that negativity to slow my momentum. Momentum is what makes change possible. In which direction are you going to change? Even a small amount of momentum in the right direction is a very powerful thing. We'll review what we've already covered next because it's important to be clear about these points. I welcome any positive questions, discussions below. A thumbs up and subscribe are always appreciated. Please keep watching. We have a lot more to discuss.